It's now happened time after time after time, day after day. We keep seeing plane accidents. Some of them crashes, some of them other accidents. But take a look at this. This is the third aviation accident since Trump got into office. American Airlines plane strikes United tug at O'Hare. Driver is critically injured. Third accident since Trump got in office. Third. You had the crash in D.C. at Reagan with the helicopter. You had the crash in Philadelphia. The small plane were plunged into the middle of a busy, crowded suburb. It was a medical flight. You had a pediatric patient, 5 years old, on board, right? This keeps happening now. Why? Well, the answer is very simple. Number one, we have the crisis of neoliberalism is now coming to a peak. The crisis of neoliberalism, namely deregulation. Hey, we saw all those reports, whistleblowers saying, you do know that for the Boeing planes, they're like taking parts out of dumpsters and using that for the plane. That sounds made up. It's not. You go read it. You go see. By the way, weird. One of the Boeing whistleblowers ended up dead. Strange, very strange. You got that going on, the deregulation crisis, but you also have the crisis of anti-government fundamentalism. Guys, you're not going to believe this. Look at this. This is from CBS News. Less than 10% of the nation's airport terminal towers have enough air traffic controllers to meet a set of standards set by a working group that included the FAA and the Controllers Union, according to a CBS News analysis of FAA data. So over 90% of U.S. airport towers are understaffed. Over 90%. In the case of the D.C. crash, one person was doing two jobs. One person had to control the helicopters and I believe the regional flights. One person doing two jobs. And that was a relatively normal occurrence because 90% of airport towers are understaffed. 90%. You know, there was one particular area where it just seemed we can never get out of our own way and we can never solve a problem. The area of gun violence, where it didn't matter how many mass shootings there were, didn't matter how many school kids had their heads blown off. Everybody would look at it and go, we know what the answers are, but then there'd just be total fucking stasis. It would just be the NRA would buy the entire Republican Party. The Republicans would block everything. We'd get like no serious gun reform, not even universal background checks, never mind high-capacity magazine bans or things of that nature. There was one specific area where it's like, we just don't learn and evolve and grow anymore. We just don't solve problems anymore. That was the one area where it felt totally hopeless, right? Now that cancer is spreading. Now that cancer has reached the point where there's 3 plane accidents in the course of like a week. And nobody's doing anything. Oh, hey, we got to get more air traffic controllers, bro. We got to regulate the airline industry better. What are we doing? Nobody's saying it. Nobody's writing it. Nobody's talking about it. So here's the video. I'm sure many of you have seen it. I'll give you a warning right now if you don't want to see it. But this is one of the videos of the plane crash in Philadelphia. Look at this. Look at that. Terrible. This person says, this is a great point. Not to be a broken record, but if Joe Biden had axed hundreds of FAA officials, fired the TSA chief, froze air traffic controller hiring, and then had multiple planes falling out of the sky in a single week, the articles of impeachment would already be drawn up. And it actually goes one step further. They sent out an email trying to get other air traffic controllers to resign. They try to offer a bogus buyout for them to resign. 90% understaffed, and they say, freeze the hiring, and also, here's an email, we want more of you to resign. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a failed state. We are living in a failed state. When you can be presented very clearly with problems that need solving, and your reaction is not even to shove your head in the sand and do nothing. Your reaction is to further exacerbate the problem, which is what Trump is doing and what Elon Musk is doing. How do you call it anything other than a failed state? So now it's not only the case on gun issues where nothing seems to get better and everything seems to get worse all the time, no matter even if 40 fucking kids get killed in a school. Now it's the same thing with air travel, and it's going to be the same thing on every front. This is what a failed state looks like. If you don't know how to fight back against this, if you can't speak up, if you can't make a case for a better world, you got to get out of politics. Because we're dealing, let's call it what it is. We're dealing with evil people. We are dealing with evil people who are not interested in solving problems. We're dealing with self-dealers. We're dealing with rent seekers. We're dealing with robber barons who want to get more wealthy, and they're going to loot the treasury in the process. We're dealing with scam artists like Trump himself and his shitcoin that he ran, the scam he ran on his own supporters 2 days before his inauguration. You don't play fucking patty cakes with them. You don't meet them halfway. You defeat them. You defeat them on behalf of the American people, and you start to solve these problems. Why are you not making more of a stink about this? Why are you not screaming about this? This should be the easiest political layup in history. Clobber him over the head with the FAA hiring freeze. Clobber him over the head with the fact he's trying to get more air traffic controllers to resign when we're 90% understaffed. Disgusted isn't even a strong enough word. We need to invent a new word. All right, guys, that's the show, y'all. Thank you for listening, as always. Everybody do me a big favor. Please click like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Thank you to everybody who supports this show on Patreon. That link's below if you'd like to help out. You could also sign up for Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack or tip with the thanks button on YouTube. This is real independent media, not fake independent media. Never talk to an advertiser, never talk to a corporation, never talk to a billionaire, never talk to a government. Super proud of that fact. You guys fund the show from the ground up. All right, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good one, y'all. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.